Okay, can you all see my screen?
I can.
Yeah. Okay. So welcome back. We were discussing on RF before we had a break. So on RF we did some transactions. Okay, we created a resource as a master data, and what we were about to go through is some of the configuration on RF, which could be functional. Plus, I would also like to share some technical documents with you on the uh, configuration on RF. Okay, some documents uh, based on which mostly the configuration which is done by ABAP or the developments which are done by ABAP on the RF side. Okay, so I'll just log into the EWM system. So before we went on the vacation, we created a resource where we created our own resource type, own resource group. Okay, so just a recap, resource group, it helped us in the assignment of queues to the warehouse order. Based on queues, we could select the relevant order while execution on RF. Queues are also used for directing users, you know, uh, to work on a particular process or a particular area. Okay, and the user can get task of only that particular area. Okay. Then for the other major entity for the resource that we managed was um, resource type. Okay, so in resource type we we were using resource type for the like we can say the specification for the user, like what work he can handle, which resources he can handle. Okay, and what kind of um, uh, what pallets the resource can handle, and what kind of bin the resources is allowed to enter. Okay, so capability, or we can say the specification of resources are mentioned in the resource type. Okay, so when we log into RF, we use this presentation device. Okay, default presentation device. So I'll just explain you what this presentation device is. Okay, so basically, we have different RF screens. Okay, so this presentation device gives you a screen size basically. Okay, so generally there are two standard sizes of RF screen: 16 by 20 and 8 by 40. Okay, so if you can have a look here, we can understand how this um, how this presentation device is created. Okay, so I'll just go back again. So this presentation device, if you remember last week, PD01, okay, that's the presentation device. So there, as I told you, these are different devices like your forklift screen, the tablet like screen that you have. Okay, so it's also your can be a handle gun, can be a certain specific type of screen that the users are handling. So different screen sizes, are created as different presentation devices. Okay, so you create presentation device as a master data. Okay, so there are two master data. You can see MRT and handle. Okay, so what you can see is basically for both of them, the main configurable entity that we maintain is display profile. Okay, so we can create n number of presentation devices like handle scanner type 1, handle scanner type 2, MRTs, these screens on the forklift type 1, type 2. So we can create n number of presentation device. What controls your size is in the background is a display profile. This is a config. Okay. So let's go to display profile. So here you can see a display profile. So display profile, the standard SCP display profile is star star. Okay. So I'll not try to change star star, but I'll show you how you can change the size. So the standard screen of RF, you will first try to open it into your handheld gun, okay, and see whether the size of the screen is being fitting correctly, or if it is like truncated from here till here it is coming, or the screen is big and it's appearing in a corner, it's not properly filled. So what you have to do here is come here and you have to basically, I'm just trying to copy the standard one, display profile. So here you can change your screen height, screen width. Okay. So as I told you, there are two standard ones. Mostly all your RF devices, they support 8 by 40 or 16 by 20. Then how many push button lengths you can have? What is the push button length? How many quantity you can have? Okay. So push button length is 8. I mean, that is again standard. So this is a push button, and maximum you can have is 4. Sorry, yeah, 4 on one screen. Okay. Then there are some more details about the screen that we see. Okay. So I'm not going to copy this. So this is the main control of a display profile. Okay. So I'm just going to show you a standard display profile. So basically display profile has all the screens. It's kind of very technical, but you can see these are the screen programs. Okay, so any screen, as I told you, if you are in this screen, any screen on RF, you just press Control Shift F1. Okay, so Control Shift F1, so you will get the screen number. Okay, so as you know, like this is from, I'm explaining from the technical side. If you're writing a functional specs or you're discussing with an ABAPer, if you want to make a change here, you want to put some description here, or you want to bring something here, or you want to change something in the screen. So this is the screen number which you'll be looking at. Okay, and then you can start modification from here itself, or you can just go into this screen and do some changes. Ideally, we don't change the standard screens, we create new screens. Okay, starting with 9. This is the transaction. Okay, I'll just come back to the transaction. So any screen, they are mapped here, and then you can see the screen there. It's calling the same screen painter over here. You can see. So this gives a lot of details. Which transaction, which step, what you're doing. So you can see the screen has come here, which is 104 may be used in some or the other transaction. So yeah, this transaction also you can display C51, any screen that you want to show. Let's say you want to see this 104. I think some people from web have already used such screens before. So let's say this RF transaction basically. So this is standard transaction and this is standard step. So this is an entire transaction. Okay. this is a entire transaction. This is entire transaction and different screens. The step flow that we saw, let's say I'll take you to inbound again. Seeing of handling, seeing my delivery. So different screens that we go through. It is a different step here. You can see a different screen, different step. Okay, and you can see that this is the screen that we just created. That we were just got a number from, and you can change it. Maybe I'll need a development access key. Okay, so I'll not change it. I don't have it. So you can change here. Okay, you can drag drop. How you want to display. You can increase the length and other things. Okay, so this is the overall screen flow, but I think we don't create screens here or something. It is just for analysis here. We just create display profile over here. Okay, so the main transaction where we do all the changes is this transaction. Okay, so let's say for example this is inbound receiving transaction. I want to uh, just see a particular transaction. So this is the transaction RHDESI. So you can just go here and you can go into RHDESI. Okay. So this is the transaction, which we are going through, and it has all the different folders. So main folder is your step flow. So you can see that this is the function module it executes. Okay. And then this is the first step, RHHU RHHUSL. Okay, let's go to the first step. So RH, the first step is RHDESL. So it goes into transaction DESL. Then DESL you enter, it executes this functional module, and then it goes to the next step, which is if you press enter, it goes to the next step. Okay, so this, if you see the next step, see this is the next step because I pressed enter, RHDHDT. So then in that next step there will be a functional module again, and then you have in that functional module we write all the program, what has to be done. So let's say what I'm saying is the standard functional module, standard coding and everything is done. You don't need to change there, but sometimes let's say I want to change here. Let's say I put the handling unit here. Okay, I want to show some details over here, or on I want to bring a on a pressing enter, I want to do a GR directly or unloading directly. Okay, so I'll write down in this functional module, I'll create a Z functional module over here. Okay, so this is again most of this configuration, step flow, screen flow, or sending functional module, it's done by ABAP. Maybe we need to give them the flow by looking at the screen number, the step number in our functional specifications. Okay, so again let me take you to one more point, that is this is the functional, you know um, we call them as functional codes, but these are basically the function keys. So let's say there are two function keys over here, you want to bring some more over here. So how you can do that? So that is basically done using your function code profile. Okay, so you press enter. So F7 is back, F6 is clear. These are standard ones, but if you, this is a different screen here. So we'll see which is RH, step RHHUDT. So let's say So you can see here, you know, in this logical transaction flow, you can see that there are function codes here. So RHHUDT, you know, if you press enter, that this happens, but you know, these are function codes as well. So RSCHPM, okay. So if you can see here, RS change HU packaging material. So this is the, you know, function code which is coming over here, okay. RSCHPM, okay. So this, when you press, so this is the functional module that is going on in the background, okay. Then here, this is the, you know, here you assign that RHHU, what was the RHHUDT. So here you assign, you know, what is the push button, okay, RHHUPM. So it is F2. So here you can see, you know, it's F2 over here, okay. So these are the few things, you know, you need to, if you're from ABAP side, you need to configure this. From a functional side, you know, you need to just guide ABAPers, or you know, make them understand that what is your requirement, where you want what, and what function codes. We need to agree with business what function codes are there, what changes they want, you know, apart from changing quantity. Here, if you want a function code of GR here itself, so how that can be done, you know, how we can bring the function code of GR from this screen to this screen, or maybe a function code from of unloading from that screen to this screen. So you know, all these things can be done, you know, when we do some development on the RF side, okay. So all these steps and all this flow and everything, and then again, you know, you can see the screen mapping over here. So here you assign the screen number, you know, to your step, okay. So each transaction, you know, as I told you, each transaction has different screens, which is a different step. So let's say this is the screen RHHUDT. So RHHUDT. So you can see the screen number is 401. So from where the screen comes from? 401, it comes from this config. So if you have changed the screen, let's say for example, you have added a new function code, or you have done some changes in the screen, what you want to call now is, you'll not call 401, you'll call 901 or Z01, which you have created, okay. So these are, you know, some of the basic changes that you can do on your RF screen, you know, some cosmetic changes or some new programming changes if it is required in the existing flow. If you want to define an all new transaction, you know, just copy the standard ones, right? So if you want to receive by delivery is there. So if you want to create a new transaction, let's say receive by vendor, okay, so you copy this, create everything, copy all this, you know, why I'm saying copy, because it will always you know, copy all the relevant transactional flow, everything will be copied, okay. So after you copy, then you change your, sorry, after you copy, then you change your function modules wherever you want to change the way it is processing for the standard, okay. So I have a book here which I'll kind of share with you. It's for technical guys mostly, but functional, if you know, if you're discussing with any ABAPer, you know, if you share this book with them, they will quickly understand everything, you know, on how the configuration, how the coding is done on the RF side, okay, for the RF, how the coding and everything is done. All the steps and all these transactions are also mentioned here. So just go through this. It's a very good book, RF cookbook. I generally share this with all my backers if they are new, and it's kind of a standard practice for coding, you know, how it should be followed. That is also mentioned here. So I'll upload this document after the session on a shared drive. So coming back to the screen, so we just saw, you know, the the presentation device, okay, which controls all these things. Then basically,
Rohan, this is Sam.
yes, Hassan.
Basically, right now, whatever you said is developing a screen display which will be seen from the workstation point of view, right? Handheld
Correct.
devices or RF devices, right? And
Yes,
you
yes,
showed us on the SAP screen how it is done, various options which EWM gives us, right?
yeah,
And the main control button is going to be the display profile, which will drive all other functionality.
exactly, exactly.
That is what I understood. Having said that, what is one configuration which actually ties up this profile to the devices?
This is the master data transaction presentation device. Okay, so here we enter the display profile to the presentation device.
Okay.
So when a user is entering into RF screen, you know, so he is entering the device which is using, so which in background checks what is the display profile,
Okay.
and from there, all the screen sizes and everything are fetched.
And the standard whatever is there in the market, do we have to configure anything with the devices as such? I believe we should do it, but
See, yeah, in market, most of the standard devices which are sold as SAP compatible, they have just two sizes, as I said, 8 by 20, 8 by 40, 16 by 20. But you might your company might have already had some old devices which have a different size. So that size can be accordingly modified. Let's say these are number of pixels on your screen. 60, it's like a grid, 8 pixels, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and by 40 pixels downwards. Okay, or 8 pixel this way, 40 pixels this way, or 16 pixel this way, 40 pixel this way. So
okay.
these are the pixel sizes. So if it is going out of your screen or it's coming configured, you can change the size. You can make it 9 or you can make it 45. So you can try out different combination.
Okay.
Yeah, hi Ron.
Mhm.
Like my question is how the data will flow from SAP to that RF device, because like the RF device is non-SAP, right? So how would the data will flow from SAP to non-SAP? We should like connect something to that RF
Uh,
device.
do you know something about ITS mobile
ITS mobile
or
service.
yeah, service? Correct.
Okay, okay.
It connects to a service link.
So we have to do this, or some other person from functional side will do this.
No,
ITS.
this services are created by the ABAPers. Okay, so so our role, from the SAP side, ABAPers role or SAP side role will be simply in until we create a service. Okay, so do you remember what is the transaction for the service? I think it's
I think
the
AC80 we have service AC80 transit.
But
uh,
Rohan, I am confused right now. I always understood that RF devices, the data used flows from the RF devices to SAP, right?
correct. But
But
how do you use this on your gun? See, RF gun
yeah, that
basically
okay.
that's what we are trying to discuss. Like I think there is a service transaction. It's yeah, CAT we can see, but I think there is a separate transaction where we can get a link of service. Um, I think to test this service, we will see there is a transactional. Mm, okay, so I think people from ABAP might be well aware, how the service works. They create this screen, then they have to publish this template, and then they have to give us the screen numbers. So I mean, this is all this are mentioned in our RF cookbook, so you can check there also. Um, just 1 minute, let me check the transaction. SC80, and then there is a separate transaction through which we get the link of the service. Mm, It's not SC80, it's something. Anyways, I'll check that transaction and I'll show you later. So this publishing the template, and then you test your service. So we can get a link of that service, and that link can be used on your RF gun. Okay, so nowadays the RF guns, we put that link. So once you click on that link, this RFUI screen gets opened up. The
So,
screen gets opened up on the gun.
so we
So it's
need to
basically that
configure.
link.
So do we need to configure that service to in SPRO or somewhere?
No, you don't have to configure it. Yeah, this has to be done by the ABAP side. The ABAP team has to configure this for you. So you have done this. So now you have to use it on your gun. So you tell your ABAPer that you need an ITS link, okay, and that ITS service link to access this on your handheld device. So I mean, as you see that you can see in SE80 that there are service. There is a separate transaction I was saying, where you get this service. You can test the service and you get a link for that service. That link you can use in your browser also, internet browser also, and that will go and open the RFUI screen. So it will ask you for a login. So if the user, if the handle device, okay, it's using the Wi-Fi same LAN which the SAP system uses, okay, then it will open up the SAP screen and ask you for your login ID password. Once you enter your login ID password, you will get the screen on your handheld device. Okay. So this is how that is carried out. I mean, just give me a minute. I'll just quickly try to search a transaction which will clear all our doubts. Oh yeah, right. It's SICA. So I mean, there are various ways. This is one very common way. Where you can through which you can test all your services. Okay, so or you can connect to a EWM system. Okay, the RF screen. This is one way of ITS mobile. There are different ways. Like previously we used to communicate using a third party. So now everything is web based. So this is the mostly used system. But previously we had SAP console in WM. I'm saying not EWM since it has come. This is more commonly used. So we had SAP console and we had to put some middlewares into this place. But now this is the nowadays, this is the common thing that we use. So basically they create service, and from here, they give us a link. Let's say we test service, any service. So it gives us a link, that link we put it into our, RF devices. Okay, and that RF device we then, will give us that RF screen on the device. Let me see if there is any service on the EWM. So maybe, if some of our team members are from web, they can try out, creating a service for that, or try to get this service, published here. I can see this is the service here. So if you can get this service, published here somehow, we can see it working. So it's not being released. So you can, so basically, when you get a link here, if it has been successfully published, or if, we don't see anything here for EWM, but a service will appear here for EWM. So once you, test that service, so while testing, it will take you to a link. That link, just let's say it takes me to this link. So this link I have to, put it into my handled device. So this link, testing of this link, can also be done by, if you go and copy paste this link directly into your browser, it will open up, that default screen. Okay. So let's say this is CRM login. If it is working. So this is that link basically, if you copy paste this link, or if you click this link, it opens up your SAP logon, and you log into the system, and it gives you that RF screen. So this is the service, through which basically the connections are done nowadays.
Hi Ron, Prashant here.
Yes, Prashant.
Suppose we have created some developer have created the entire service for this. But how can we identify that this service is for our device? Means, so there should be something, right?
See, basically you publish your screens, right?
Yeah.
So
before publishing, we don't map it to device, right?
No, you don't map it to device.
Yeah. So
while publishing, you map it to your service, right?
Okay.
So in this screen, when here you are publishing, right? So you have to, I think, let's say for example, if you publish here, so I think that time you can enter the service for which you are publishing these screens for. So the first time you are going to, let's say you create your own service, okay? So first time you are going to copy all the standard templates into your Z service, right? And that service you are going to use, so that service will have all the standard screens already published in that, plus your Z screens that you have created. Are you getting me, Prashant?
Actually, means I'm not asking about the services. Suppose service is created. But how can we identify that this service is for our particular RF device?
Okay, so service, because see, there are, let's say, 5 services here. So every service will have a separate link. Okay, so let's say this is the service, this is the link for this service. There will be a separate link for another service. So the link we use, so let's say this is the service, this is the link to be used for that, this is service. So if I use this link, it is going to use this service. If I use this link, it is going to use this service.
Okay, so while creating service, we map the device. Is it like
Correct.
that?
See, so that link will open that service only, isn't it? So when it tries to, when you open that link in a browser on a handheld device, it is going to search which service gets, a service will be called based on that, and in that all the screens and everything will be then, um, kind of fetched.
Okay, okay, fine.
So yeah, this is a transaction basically which I see, my ABAPers, when I ask them give me my test link, so they come here, they have created the service, they give me the link, and I then use it for my testing. Okay, so when you are implementing RF or you are doing some changes on RF, always test on that ITS link also. It will give you a link. Open that link in the browser, and then you can run these transactions. You'll get a screen like this in your browser. Okay, internet browser, you'll get a screen like this. Then you can test this entire screen flow. Okay, on your browser. Okay, so just test it, because sometimes if any screen is not published, so it will give you a page not found or something like that. So make sure when you are implementing, or from function side, you test all your Z screens on the ITS link as well. Okay, so maybe some of you are from ABAP, just try out creating a service. We can test it for a batch on some of the transactions. We can the same service for a standard transaction. If you can try out, we can. And there are various documents available on Google also. This is a very common technique. So if you can get a service created for us, then we can test it in for our batch data also. Okay. So coming back to some more config related to sorry uh, this RF devices. One very simple or very basic config is there, which we can also do it. It's your for your menus. Okay, so it's your presentation device we saw. Then we have something called as screen manager, where we control, we control the screen sizes, we can change the screen attributes. Presentation device also we saw. We have something called as presentation profile. Okay, so presentation profile along with personalization profile, you can see both of them here, presentation profile and personalization profile. Okay, so now what basically it does, it controls which menus you can see on your screen. Okay, let's say I'm a user, I can see all these menus. So why I need to see all these menus? I am a user only for inbound. I should only see inbound as my menu. Okay, why should I see manual selection, outbound or internal? Because they are not related to me. For a better control perspective, the menus that you can see, you can control them. Or I just get this screen. I just get system guided by queue. I should only get one transaction. I should not see any other transaction. Some users, okay, you give them a queue, you give them this transaction, access to his user ID, and he can only access that particular queue. And basically now when I'm logging into RF, you can see I can use I can see all the menus of standard SAP. So now if I want to control this menu, okay, so there is a very simple configuration which we can use to control this menus, so that we can see it in the user transaction. So for a particular user, we assign something as called as presentation profile. Okay, so I have kept it star star. That means it has all the standard screen. Now let me create a new um, uh, presentation profile. Okay, personalization profile. Sorry. So for my warehouse, okay, what is the presentation profile? So again, you can see on your somewhere we assign the presentation profile to the warehouse. Okay, so if you see the screen, assign presentation profile to the warehouse. So for our warehouse, what is the presentation profile? So our presentation profile is standard. Okay, and now, so what we do is, in a presentation profile standard, okay, we can create, let's say this is for previous batch I have created. What we can do is we can create one. Okay, let's keep it as it is. So what we'll do is we'll copy the standard, okay, and we'll say presentation profile, let's say only inbound. So user will only see the inbound menu. So like that, you can discuss with users, how they want. And let me say Z1. So you create this new personalization profile, Z1, okay, and then in Z1 we'll go and change the screens that we want. So we have a separate transaction called as menu manager, where I say my presentation profile, which is assigned to my warehouse, is star star. Personalization is Z1. Okay, I go into the change mode, and you can see this is my menu over here. Okay, this is the main menu which is appearing. Let's change anything. Drop down star sheet. I can see many things over here, but I think let me copy Z1 again. Okay, I think I will menu manager. Okay, okay, I think I should have copied here. So what I can do is I'll say copy as okay. I'll say copy as, let's say copy from star star. So I'll copy all the menus from star star into Z1. So now I think I can see all the menus over here since I have copied all the configuration. So I can just simply bring in anything here or remove things from here. So just okay, these are all the menus that we have created. All this transaction, RF transaction, where you can see this transaction. They are transactions and these are menus. You can create your own menu over here if you want to create a different menu. So, and in this menu, you have all the transactions listed. So let's say my user is only kind of allowed for inbound. I'll remove all other, and inbound also remove this, and inbound also he should only do good receiving. Okay, so this, and in receiving also he should only do receiving by delivery. All others he should not be able to see. So this is just to avoid users trying out different things and spoiling other data and spoiling other transactions. So it's kind of control. So you can see Z1 has only inbound and just one transaction. So this Z1 I'll go and assign to my user ID. Okay. And then I can go into RFUI. So you can see I'm just getting that one transaction to do a receive by delivery. So this is just one transaction is there. So receive HU by delivery. So it is directly taking me to that particular transaction. So I don't see all the other menus because there is just one transaction there. So this way you can see it didn't took me anywhere. Just the first transaction received HU by delivery, instead of handling an inbound process, just one. Okay, so just one transaction I'm going to see in my RF. So this is something which we quickly do as a small config for users, just to control where and what they are doing. And yeah, and basically, while we were creating, we just created one config over here, so that we set the presentation profile is star star. You can create your own presentation profile, okay, for your own warehouse. Okay, so depending on your requirement, if you're not happy with standard, create your own. Let's say for one, you know, uh, warehouse, we created our own presentation profile. Then that presentation profile we assigned it to the warehouse over here. Okay, and then we created our own personalization profile. This is just to make sure that we are not doing any changes to the standard. Okay, so one more base, this presentation profile has a good use. So if you can see the transaction, this presentation profile, let's take any transaction for example. You can see presentation profile wise you can control. So this is the standard flow. If you make a change in the functional module over here, it is going to impact all other warehouses. So let's say you are working with 3-4 warehouses, and your warehouse, and you want to only change for your particular warehouse. So just replace this star 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 by your warehouse presentation profile and write your function code here, function module here, change. So your change will be only applicable to your own warehouse. Okay, so this is again a common technique used in RF programming. So these are the main things that we use in an RF. So I'll share the RF cookbook with you. You can just go into more details on how RF things are done. We will again and again come back on RF, and we will do a lot of transactions on RF, but we will be using the standard screens. This was just to give you an idea if you want to do some development, because when we go for implementation there is a lot of work going on in this area. Okay, so any questions before we start the next topic?
Hello, Shreyas here.
Yeah.
Do we have any concept of authorization as such here? I mean, or we should create only user profiles for every user?
See, user profile will be there, which will, sorry, the personalization profile will be there, which will control based on the user. But the standard authorizations will still work in the background. Let's say if I do GR and I'm not authorized to do a GR, then my GR will not be posted. It will give me an error of no authorization or something. So that in the background, all the standard authorization is still working the way it is. It is just a different screen through which we are doing this transaction. Ideally, we would have done in PRDO or PRDI, a good receipt. But here we are doing in an RF screen. In the background, the objects which are called for authorization are the same. So if I don't have authorization and I can see that menu on RF, still it will stop me. So that control will still be there. The only benefit we'll be having is through this personalization profile is the display of the menus. So sometimes user have access to ad hoc transaction. They can do any movement for any other places. Or let's say the user should not be allowed to create tasks. If you see an RF, if the user has access, they can go and create tasks themselves over here. Let's say internal. I mean, very common problem is ad hoc task creation. They can, ad hoc means they can decide they can move any stock anywhere to anywhere. So that's a big risky thing. You know, you don't want people to go and control and move stock around anywhere they want. So generally you don't give them, you know, this option, and only the leads, you know, they are given this transaction for the ad hoc movements. Same with quality management, again the access will take care of things, but you know, still you don't want, you know, there are some common objects, you know, there are some common, you know, authorizations which might allow them to do, you know. So a typical one is give the users by queue, the basic end users by queue, so they know I have to work in inbound. So even though they have, or you can also, you know, in the resource, okay, I think we can give what is the standard queue. Okay, so if I decide that I am a user in inbound, I can give my queue here. So always when I log in, it will default take me to inbound queue only. So I don't see any other transaction. So you create your resources, you create your users accordingly, so that they are dedicated for that particular area, dedicated for that particular queue. That's again, you know, common practice. But yeah, just to make you aware, the standard authorizations will still be there. Okay. So the last part of this week, you know, before we go into the processes, see, it is just to give you a brief on how the warehouse monitoring and the different transaction SAP have given us for the tracking purpose or monitoring purpose. So a very typical transaction is the warehouse monitor. Okay, so you might have seen me, you know, using this transaction. Okay, so this is the common transaction which is used, central transaction which is used for monitoring in EWM. Okay, so you have all these nodes, you know, different areas. We can create our own nodes. We can create our own, you know, layouts, change the layout of this, you know, existing screens. Okay, so let's say I want. So this is the transaction where you can track inbound, outbound, any process, any flow, anything you want to check. This is a common monitoring transaction in SAP EWM. So for reporting, generally we don't create a separate transaction. We kind of create a separate folder here or separate transaction here, you know, and we do the monitoring here itself. And any monitoring we need. So you know, basically, the standard, if you see when you first time log in, you are asked to enter a monitor. So we generally create this is standard monitor. If we need some special reports, custom reports, so we'll create a Z monitor and add that report in this node somewhere, where let's say the custom report is the custom report is related to inbound. Okay, so I'll just come here and, you know, I'll enter here somewhere a folder, or in the subfolder I'll enter a, you know, transaction like this, that this is my, you know, this is my kind of report. Okay, so right from checking stock to not only checking stock, but right from tracking any process, any flow, we can use monitor. Okay, so now you might have seen me using this a lot for checking the stock, you know, where the HU is and where the bin, whether the bins are created or not, and all those things. So you can just click this and you can see all your stock. So one basic difference, you know, I mean, this we are going to use a lot for monitoring our stock. So one basic stock thing, you will see a difference, that there is something called as physical stock, something called as available stock in EWM. Okay, so what is the difference between physical stock and available stock? So when you have something in the bin, okay, so any bin which has a stock, okay, so that is physical stock. The stock is there. Now let's say I want to move this HU from this bin to another bin, let's say in storage type 8001. So I create a task. So the task is created to move this bin. So now it is this HU is still there in this bin, but a movement has been planned for it. So this HU will not be shown as available stock. Are you getting? Because some movements are planned and you cannot use this for next movements. So this is kind of, it is physically there, but it is, a movement has been planned for it, so it's not no more available for you, okay, in this bin. So this is how you will see a difference between physical stock and available stock. So if in case your available stock, there will be no open task should be there for anything which is available. But in physical, there can be this combination of all that is there in the bin. So once you move the stock, once you create and confirm the task, then your physical and available stock will match, because that product, that HU, will be moved from that bin. Okay, so we'll see a lot of stock things over here. We can track handling units. So let's say we have been doing inbound processes. We can see all the inbound deliveries that we have created so far. What are the tasks that were created? Okay. So this monitoring transaction is, the heart of EWM. It tracks anything and everything possible. So you can see this is the inbound delivery, this is the inbound delivery item, then what was the task created, what was the warehouse order created. So everything, we can see here. Okay, so these are all the tasks that were created. Then, we have a option as well, in monitor certain areas. You have some option like this. This is called as more methods basically. So what method does is, you can cancel the task, you can confirm the task, okay, you can reprint, you can do printing here, you can see the log of creation. So this method is so this I was representing monitor as a monitoring transaction, as a reporting transaction, but at certain places SAP has given us some methods, so something which you can carry out from the monitor itself. So why this is required? Because let's say I'm the warehouse supervisor, I'll monitor what all things are going on in the background. In the background, I'll monitor what all things are going on in the warehouse. I see some discrepancy here. User calls me, hey, Rohan, I just I was confirming an RF. I faced some issue. So can you please confirm the task for me, because my gun has been logged out, or my screen has frozen, or something has hanged up, but the stock I have completed the movement. So can you just confirm it in the screen? So user will not go into, he will search the task here, but he will not go into the task confirmation screen. Rather, he can just quickly come here and confirm it in the background. Okay. So same way, there is a very common activity which user does is, oh, this is assigned to a queue. I want to change the queue. I want to assign it to another queue, so that so this is in the inbound queue. I have another queue which is urgent. Okay. So any stock which is kind of urgent, the supervisor who monitors, you get a call, hey, this material is required urgently on site, and there is a team, which only works on supplying urgent parts. There are 2-3 dedicated people. So you want to put it as urgent, you will just come here and say, hey, change the queue, and you will change the queue from here. It is not changing because these tasks are confirmed. So it will give you a pop-up to change the screen. So you change the queue, and then it will appear in the urgent person's task list, and he can then confirm that on the gun. Okay. So anything you say, your queues, we can manage your queues, RF queues also from here. So how many queues have been failed, okay, what is the error, and then you can just quickly reprocess it as well. Okay, you can reset the status. You can open the QRF monitor. You can see the application log over here, what happened, what happened, and why this error is coming up. Okay, so you can just open the log as well from here to see the flow, how things went wrong. Okay, then what we are discussing today, resource management. You can see what all resources are there. You can, or this method is something very useful. You can change the queue of the resource. You can change the resource data from here. You can log off the resource. Let's say I'm logged into this resource and my shift is over. So trainer shift is over, but he's logged on to the resource, so somebody else can't use it. So I didn't log off. So I'll log off trainer so that next person can use this resource now. Okay. So you can see what all users are working, what all queues are there, how many tasks are there. Okay. So alerts are there as well. Okay, so we can track all the alerts, like how many overdue waves. So we can, these are standard, how many tasks are open, okay, in this overdue since how many hours, like how many hours they have been, not confirmed. So you can track them. So this is, gives you a list of the tasks that have been pending since last 24 hours, more than 24 hours. So you can get a list and you can act urgently on it. There is a separate folder given for labor management. Okay, so just run through this different folders, different transactions. We are going to use it a lot, and we also have, as I said, stock visibility thing. So you can see physical stock, available stock, stock on resources. Okay, so you can see, which resource is having what stock. So if you go into stock and bin, and if you see the physical stock, if I'm doing some RF transaction, so on RF the stock is on in my hand. Okay, so I'm doing some confirmation on the screen, but I've picked the stock. So stock is the resource. So the stock will not show in either of the bin. It will show it is with the resource. So you can track how much stock is there on the resource. Okay. So I think you can track it somewhere here. How much stock is on the resource, so how much stock is there physically on the resource, you can track it. I don't have anything here, so how many handling units are on the resource, so you can see, let's say you can imagine, warehouse which is fastly moving. You can see, okay, how many resources are handling stock, which all handling units they are handling. So let's say, for example, I didn't confirm, I put handling unit on the resource, but I did it correctly, I didn't put away it correctly. So that will be still showing on my ID, my resource, that I didn't place it, but it's still showing on the RF. So what a super user will do is every day, end of the day, he will see, okay, I hope there are no stock with the resources. So if any resource is handling any stock, so I'll call that resource, hey, can you place your handling unit and then leave for the day, because I'm seeing some handling unit in your name. So I do, ideally the forklifts should not have anything, with them before end of the shift. Everything should be kept into the bins. So I can see them, some stock is being handled by you. Please complete your activity and then leave. Just place it somewhere, or either from where you picked it, keep it there itself, or in the destination, and keep your forklift in the charging station, and then you can leave. So this kind of things you can also track resources. I mean, tracking resources is very important here. Okay, and last thing is your physical inventory documents. Anything related to physical inventory can be tracked here. What are the differences? What are the different physical inventory documents which are open? When we see physical inventory process, we'll go here and do this in more detail. Okay. So for this also, I'll share a book with you. If you are interested in, I don't think so I have a book here for this, but I'll try to get a book here for this. In case you are interested, if you want to create a node or folder. So we in the RF, this is the configuration area where you can design your own monitor, screen, and again, this program here is again done by ABAPers, creating a function module of screen, selection screen, and output screen, layout, anything that you can do here, we can create here for monitor. So I'll share a PDF file how to do this configuration and how to use this. You can create your own monitor, nodes. Again, this is very technical. You have classes, you have methods assigned, you have functional modules. Generally, all these configurations are done by ABAP. So I'll share that book with you in case you might need it, because any EW implementation, you come across a situation where you need to do something in the monitor. Okay. Sorry guys, just had to extend for a few minutes. So we'll stop here today. Tomorrow we'll see some more monitoring transaction which SAP has provided, monitoring and reporting transactions. and then we'll start with inbound process tomorrow. Okay, and go into detailed process wise now. So we'll stop here today. Anybody has any questions or any doubts to discuss after the class? So they can stay back, or else we'll end and we'll meet tomorrow again.
Yes, Ron, regarding EWM connection, which we have discussed last week.
Yeah. So, please, the EWM system you are using, I have raised the concern with, see, your CIF works well, that you also have seen, and I have also showed you that it works really well. The problem is with the method. Okay, if you I mean, we see this. I think the problem is with the distribution model. Okay, so we are creating deliveries, but somehow you can see that these deliveries are not going. See, they are. I created this delivery in ECC, and in ECC this delivery is being shown, okay, as being failed, and it is it's not going to EWM system. Okay, so if CIF is working, that means your RFC connections are working, correct?
Yeah.
So RFC connection and logical systems are working fine. So for sending the deliveries, there is just one thing which controls that is your distribution model, correct? So the existing system, we have checked that mostly the distribution model which is used is, if you see here, the distribution model which is mostly used in the system is EWM1, or ZEWM is there, and then EWM1 is the one which I see used a lot. So looks like EWM1 is the one which has to be used in this system. Okay. So what I've done is I've tried distributing your warehouse using EWM1. Okay.
No, it's WH2.
Oh, sorry. So you can see that distribution model, everything is set up fine. So now the problem here is it is not directing it to, it is not this distribution model, it should go and reach that RFC destination and then send the deliveries to ECC. So our warehouse configuration is fine, but somehow the distribution model is not passing on the details of your delivery to your RFC destination. Correct. So there is some, I'm assuming there is some issue with the distribution model. Okay. So that's what I have told Vishwanath to check with the basis team, of the vendor from where we have got this system. I mean, frankly speaking, I didn't get any data. I've tried creating deliveries for other warehouses also. So let's say there was a few deliveries in the month of August that were created in the system for a particular warehouse. I tried creating those deliveries for that particular warehouse also. There also we are getting this issue.
Yeah, I discussed with Vishwanathan, but I guess he's on leave till like 6th or next Monday. So he told me he'll get back to me, but till that time I am stuck onto that system.
Yeah. So this is what my suggestion is. That your 1 month access is going to expire soon for the system. Like Shreyas, Prashant, and Vaibhav, they have taken access to the system which I'm using. So that is well connected system, and I think the response from the vendor from which we have hired is much better there in terms of any such issues. So maybe if you can also other advantage, you'll get the data which we are creating now. You can see them as well. You can use the same warehouse which I'm using for testing as well. So if in case but the only concern will be the way that you'll have to do all your config again. But yeah, I'm sure that that system, I have been training on this system since last 3 years. It is very well maintained, and the response from vendor is also good. And since I'm continuously we are using that for training, and any issues which is there is looked after and sorted, because we cannot wait for some issues during the training. So it is well maintained system, I would say. So if in case you can think about taking that system, just a quick walk around, I would say.
Okay, I
Or
will
we'll
check
have to
with.
wait for uh, Vishwanath to once he's back to solve this for us. But it is taking a lot of time, I understand. For this, you guys have to wait, and then your catch up on the sessions will be delayed accordingly. Same thing I have told others also. If you're okay, switch to this system as soon as possible.
Okay, I will discuss with Vishwanathan, or I will take that new one. Otherwise,
Ye- Yes, please.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Anything else?
Rohan, Vaibhav here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Vibha.
I had mailed you yesterday regarding one error.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see that. What is the error you're getting? Just one minute.
While creating that, I'm getting an error of account assignment.
Mm-hmm.
It's compulsorily telling me to maintain a account assignment for the material which I have created.
M-O2,
Uh,
yeah?
yeah, so I tried using your plant, then Shreyas plant. It didn't ask me for maintaining any account assignment, but for my plant, it's asking me to
See,
create.
why it is saying is because your plant, let's say you have created this product, yeah?
Yeah, M02 is the
So if why it's giving you, because you have extended your product, okay?
I went to
Have
MMSC
you,
transaction and added storage.
no, you have to also assign as 8300, yeah? 8300. So if you see that, you have not extended to your particular plant. So what you have to do is, this product, you have to, create it again. So that is called as extending the material to your plant. And you have to extend it to at least for purchasing and accounting views. So that, you have to extend all the relevant views, but at least purchasing and accounting view to be able to create. So why it is saying, oh, I'm sorry, I mean another system.
Are you in IDS?
So have you created that in your plant? So if you create it like this, material already maintained, then it should not be an issue. Let me check. Counting one view. I think if it is maintained, then it should go through. Slash O ME21N trigger. So your vendor is
It's
T-K830.
1313, yeah, the last one.
Yeah. TR80. Because the reason is it is kind of slash OSPR. Not considering this as a valid material, let me quickly check one config. Which plant you copied your plant from?
Yes, 8,000 or 8,200. From that I had copied.
Okay, let me quickly check. Master. So it's material type is convention 8300, yeah. Okay, I think you have copied from which plant? See, if you have copied from 8000 or 8200, I think this indicator should have been set.
Yeah,
Somehow this indicator are not set. So have you removed it or?
no, yesterday I checked these settings as well, but the valuation here I didn't knew that we need to put 8,300. So I had checked for different material types. ROH I had checked for.
No, but I'm thinking, why it has gone blank for you? Because you've copied from a plant which has already had this indicator. Anyways, we'll quickly check now.